Good morning, America. As the sun rises over snow-blanketed cities and towns, millions of us are waking up to a world transformed overnight. The air is crisp, the streets are silent, and a sense of anticipation hangs heavy. Today, we stand on the threshold of a weather event that will be remembered for years to come. A historic winter storm is bearing down on our nation, set to impact over 200 million people, nearly two-thirds of the country. From the Great Plains to the Atlantic coast, this system stretches across thousands of miles, its swirling clouds visible from space, a reminder of nature's immense power. The National Weather Service is issuing urgent warnings, calling this storm extremely dangerous and life-threatening. Meteorologists are working around the clock, tracking every shift and turn, providing updates as the situation evolves by the hour. This storm brings more than just snow. Expect relentless snowfall, thick layers of ice coating cars and trees, and winds so fierce they drive the snow sideways, reducing visibility to near zero. The cold will be biting, the kind that seeps through even the warmest coats. Blizzard conditions will make travel treacherous, with highways turning into white tunnels and freezing rain weighing down power lines. Wind chills will plummet, making it dangerous to be outside for even a few minutes. Frostbite and hypothermia are real risks. Across the country, cities are bracing for impact. Streets will empty, businesses will close, and families will hunker down indoors, waiting for the worst to pass. Schools and offices are shuttered, and the usual rhythms of daily life are put on hold. Forecasters predict that this storm will shatter low-temperature records in dozens of states. Thermometers are expected to plunge to levels not seen in a generation, with some areas facing the coldest days in their recorded history. We're not just facing a cold snap, these are temperatures colder than many places have seen in decades. For some, it will be the coldest they've ever experienced, a stark reminder of winter's raw force. Infrastructure will be pushed to its limits. Emergency services are on high alert, hospitals are preparing for an influx of weather-related injuries, and utility crews are standing by to repair frozen pipes and downed power lines. The health risks are especially high for the elderly, the very young, and those without adequate shelter. Officials urge everyone to check on neighbors, especially the vulnerable, and to stock up on essentials, now. Make sure you have enough food, water, and medications to last several days. Prepare for the possibility of being snowed in or losing power. The next few days will be challenging. Whiteout conditions and sheets of ice will make travel nearly impossible. Authorities are urging everyone to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary, as emergency vehicles may struggle to reach those in need. Power outages are likely as ice accumulates on lines and high winds bring down trees and poles. Some communities may be without electricity or heat for hours or even days as crews work tirelessly to restore service. This is a time for preparation, not panic. Gather your emergency supplies, charge your devices, and make a plan with your loved ones. Stay tuned to local news and weather alerts for the latest updates. The safest place to be is indoors. Keep warm, stay informed, and avoid unnecessary risks. If you must go outside, dress in layers and cover exposed skin. In times like these, community matters more than ever. Check in on your neighbors, lend a helping hand, and share resources when you can. Together, we can weather even the fiercest storm. This is a storm for the history books, a test of our resilience, our preparedness, and our compassion. Stay safe, stay strong, and let's face this challenge together. The storm began its relentless journey in the west, where the first flakes fell quietly over mountain towns and cities. What started as a gentle snowfall quickly intensified, blanketing the landscape in white and signaling the arrival of something much more powerful. Residents watched as the skies darkened and winds picked up, knowing that this was only the beginning of a much larger event. As the system gained strength over the towering Rockies, it unleashed blizzard conditions across high mountain passes, making travel nearly impossible and stranding motorists. The snow piled up rapidly, and fierce winds whipped drifts into towering walls, cutting off remote communities and challenging even the most prepared residents. From there, the storm swept eastward, surging across the vast plains and into the heart of the Midwest. Here, the open farmland offered little protection from the biting wind and blowing snow, creating whiteout conditions that stretched for miles. Farmers and townspeople alike scrambled to secure livestock and supplies, bracing for the worst. Major cities like Memphis and Nashville, unaccustomed to such severe winter weather, found themselves bracing for rare and dangerous snow and ice. City workers rushed to salt the roads, while residents stocked up on essentials, preparing for the possibility of being snowed in for days. Meanwhile, the busy I-95 corridor, a lifeline for millions along the East Coast, prepared for a deluge of heavy wet snow. Plows and emergency crews stood ready, knowing that even a few inches could bring traffic to a standstill and disrupt daily life for countless commuters. In New York City, Forecasters warned of up to 14 inches, enough to paralyze the city that never sleeps. Subways and buses faced delays, and iconic landmarks like Times Square disappeared beneath a thick, swirling blanket of snow. Boston and southern New England braced for even more, with up to 17 inches possible, and blizzard-like winds threatening to knock out power and bury neighborhoods. Residents hunkered down, knowing that the storm's fury could last for days. Even the South wasn't spared. North Texas, Arkansas, and Georgia found themselves under rare ice alerts, as freezing rain coated highways and made travel treacherous. For many, this was a once-in-a-decade, event, and emergency services urged everyone to stay off the roads. Ice proved especially dangerous, weighing down power lines until they snapped and plunging neighborhoods into darkness. Emergency crews worked around the clock to restore power, while drivers struggled to keep control on slick, frozen roads. The storm's reach was truly coast to coast, stretching from the Pacific Northwest all the way to the Atlantic, impacting nearly every corner of the eastern two-thirds of the country. No region was left untouched by its icy grip. This was a classic nor'easter, drawing in moisture from the Atlantic and transforming it into a relentless, snow-making machine. Meteorologists tracked its every move, warning that the worst was yet to come for the Northeast. In total, millions of Americans found themselves in the path of this relentless winter onslaught, facing days of snow, ice, and bitter cold. For many, it was a storm they would never forget. The numbers tell a chilling story, one that's unfolding across the country as a historic winter storm tightens its grip. These aren't just statistics, they're a stark warning of the dangers ahead, and a reminder of nature's raw power. In the northern plains, wind chills could plunge to a bone-numbing minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. At these levels, the cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's life-threatening. Exposure for even a few minutes can have serious consequences, and the risk of hypothermia skyrockets. Farther east, cities like New York and Boston are bracing for their own Arctic blast. Wind chills in New York will drop to minus 10, while Boston could see minus 15. For millions, these numbers mean bundling up in layers, limiting time outdoors, and checking on neighbors. At these temperatures, frostbite can set in on exposed skin in less than 5 minutes. Fingers, toes, and faces are especially vulnerable. Medical experts urge everyone to cover up and avoid unnecessary exposure. Snowfall totals are staggering. Over a foot of snow is expected from Colorado all the way to Boston. New York City could see up to 14 inches, while Boston may be buried under as much as 17. Streets, sidewalks, and highways will be blanketed, making travel nearly impossible. Strong, relentless winds will whip the snow into blinding blizzard conditions, reducing visibility to near zero. Whiteouts will make driving treacherous, and even walking outside will be hazardous. The combination of heavy wet snow and powerful winds threatens trees and power lines. Branches can snap, and power lines may come down, increasing the risk of widespread outages that could leave thousands in the dark and cold. The bitter cold will linger for days, putting immense stress on heating systems and critical infrastructure. Furnace breakdowns and frozen pipes are real concerns, especially for vulnerable populations. This is not just a dusting, it's a crippling event that will take days, if not longer, to recover from. Snow removal crews will be working around the clock, but progress will be slow. The wind chill effect will make the cold feel even more brutal, cutting through clothing and making outdoor activity dangerous. Even brief exposure can be hazardous. Power outages in these conditions are especially dangerous. Without heat, homes can become dangerously cold in a matter of hours. Preparation is critical. Stock up on essentials, check on loved ones, and stay informed as this historic storm unfolds. 16 states have declared emergencies, mobilizing resources and the National Guard. New York is deploying over 1,600 snowplows and has stockpiled 114,000 tons of salt. Governor Hochul urges residents to stay home and stock up on essentials. New York City sanitation workers and 2,200 snowplows are on extended shifts to keep streets clear. Emergency routes are the top priority. In Texas, memories of the 2021 grid failure loom large. Governor Abbott assures the public the grid is stronger, but local outages remain possible. Ice and wind could still bring down power lines. State agencies are on high alert, ready to respond as soon as conditions allow. Across the country, officials are urging everyone to prepare and stay off the roads. Travel is grinding to a halt. Airlines have canceled thousands of flights, with major hubs like New York, Boston, and DC virtually shut down. Passengers are urged to check flight status and take advantage of flexible rebooking policies. On the roads, the National Weather Service warns that travel will be nearly impossible during the storm's peak. Whiteout conditions and black ice make driving extremely dangerous. Officials advise staying home unless it's an absolute emergency. Plows struggle to keep up when snow falls at 1 to 2 inches per hour. Highways and local roads may be closed or impassable for days. Commercial trucking is delayed, disrupting shipments nationwide. The safest place is at home until the storm passes and roads are cleared. Stay put and let crews do their work. The storm's end won't bring relief. A powerful Arctic air mass will keep temperatures frigid well into next week. Snow and ice will remain frozen, prolonging dangerous conditions on roads and sidewalks. The deep freeze strains power grids and increases the risk of burst pipes. Cities face a monumental cleanup, as snow won't melt and salt is less effective in extreme cold. Residents must be patient as crews work around the clock. The risk of hypothermia and frostbite remains high, especially for vulnerable populations. Continue to dress warmly, limit time outdoors, and check on neighbors. The storm may pass, but its icy grip will linger. Our neighbors in Canada are also battling severe winter weather. The Arctic air mass fueling our storm originated deep within Canada. Major cities like Toronto and Montreal are used to deep freezes and heavy snow, with efficient snow removal operations. Much of Canada is locked in a deep freeze, with new storms expected in the east. Environment Canada has issued warnings for dangerous wind chills and heavy snow. Even with experience, severe weather poses risks and disrupts travel and commerce across the border. This is a shared North American winter, reminding us of our interconnectedness. We're all in this together, from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian Arctic. Officials are clear: stay home and off the roads. The National Weather Service warns that conditions will be life-threatening. Don't risk getting stranded. First responders may not reach you quickly. Dress in layers, cover extremities, and limit time outdoors to prevent hypothermia and frostbite. Never use gas stoves, ovens, or generators indoors. Carbon monoxide is deadly. Ensure you have working detectors and safe heat sources. Prepare an emergency kit with flashlights, batteries, food, water, and a radio. Charge devices and check on family and neighbors, especially the elderly. Communication and preparation are key. A little planning goes a long way in a storm like this. Heed the warnings, they could save your life. As this historic storm unfolds, our focus must be on safety and community. The next 48 to 72 hours are critical. Stay put and let emergency crews do their work. Check on neighbors, especially the elderly or those with mobility issues. Small acts of kindness, like a phone call or shoveling a walkway, make a big difference. Let's thank first responders, utility workers, and all those braving the storm to keep us safe. The best way to help is to heed warnings and avoid unnecessary risks. Remember, storms pass, the sun will come out again. Stay informed, be prepared, and show compassion for those around you. Together, we can weather this storm. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side.